Happy Thursday, everyone. Shannon here with Fit for Profit. And sorry, I'm a little bit late. trying something a little bit new. As you can see, I'm using StreamYard today, which I know means that you have to do a little bit extra if you want to comment. So I would encourage you to read the comments below and it will have instructions for you. So I wanted to keep this pretty quick and short again today. And I just thank you for your grace as I'm trying and learning new things along with you. So, my question for you today is: have you ever had an unexpected expense? Probably. We all have, right? They come up for all of us. But one of my favorite things to do with new clients, especially, is to talk about how we use Profit First personally. So we spend a lot of time in prior videos talking about how to use Profit First in business, but it also works personally. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. There are times where you have to get your personal finances in order before you can really get your business finances in order. And so that's why we spend some time at the beginning of every client journey with us talking about goals, and usually that revolves around owner's pay and how much you actually need to pay yourself. But sometimes, in order to figure out how much you actually need to pay yourself, you have to get those personal finances in order. So that's actually a conversation for another time, but that's part of the process that we go through. And I thought I would share that with you. But what I wanted to talk about today was those unexpected expenses and how those play in to how much you need to pay yourself from your business, and figuring out how you can have a buffer account basically so that those expenses happen and they're still unexpected. Like, we aren't ever planning on a car repair, right? Ever have, to replace tires on your car, or if you have kids, or if you have pets and have to go to the vet, or medical expenses, or your kids just come home and my teenagers are like, I need money for this at school and I need money for this activity. Those can be unexpected expenses. Sometimes they're small and it's easy to come up with 20 bucks for your teenager, and sometimes they're big and it's harder to come up with $2,000 for new car tires or a medical expense or whatever. So some of you also might be spending or paying off your Christmas bills right now, 2 months later. Or what if, let's talk about a happy thing, it's your friend's birthday and you decide that you want to pay for the night out on the town. You may not have thought about that when you were budgeting, so to speak. So those all might be unexpected now, but what I love to do is talk about those possibilities when we're talking about Profit First, and figure out how much you might spend on those things throughout the course of a year. And then you can divide that by however many times you get paid. So, whatever that total is, you divide it by however many times you get paid, or you divide it by 12. And we set up a separate account and we start putting that amount into that account every month or every time you get paid. And then when one of those things happens, it's still unexpected. We're still not like planning for it, but we now have some savings set aside for that. And so there's a lot of peace of mind around that. And if you forget something, because you've been saving more than just that one expense in that account, there's a little bit extra in there. You can go back and you can refigure how much you need to be saving in that account for the next 12 months so that you're ready for the next thing if you forgot something when you were doing this originally. So it's flexible, but it's really required. It's necessary so that we have a little bit of fun sitting around. So that's just one of the ways that we can use Profit First personally. And I thought I would share that with you just for something different today, besides talking about it in your business. Hopefully you can see how that exact same thing could also work in your business with unexpected expenses, or those expenses that you only pay once a year. You could set up what we call an annual expense account and be putting money in there on a regular basis so that those expenses don't hurt cash flow as much. Um, and those are, things like annual insurance expenses or annual dues and subscriptions. So I'm just curious today, what was that last unexpected expense that you had personally? And share it in the group, because this is one of those things where it's easy to think about what those unexpected expenses were in the last, 3 months or a month. But what happened 10 months ago, it's not easy to remember. But if that just happened last month for somebody else, and they post that in the comments, then it kind of jogs our memory. So go ahead and share. What was that last unexpected expense? I'm going to start with my comment, and we can go from there. And just a quick tip too. sometimes people get kind of carried away with this. And I might be one of those people who gets carried away with it. I've actually taken this a step further where I actually have an account for each of my kids and I put that amount in their account. So I was just listening to a client's podcast and he was talking about having a account for his dog, and we actually have an account for our dog too. Because you don't spend evenly throughout the year, and so I know how much I'm going to spend on my dog throughout the year, and I just put a little bit in there every month, and then when I spend, the money's there. So there's a couple different ways to look at it, but I highly encourage you to think about what are those unexpected expenses, add them up, divide it by the number of times you get paid, or 12, and start allocating money into that account personally, so that it doesn't put such a money crunch on your personal finances when those things happen. Be sure to leave a comment below. What was that last expense for you? And if this is helpful, always share this with a friend. Until next week, take care, everybody.